2021, amending Chapter 148 of the Land Use Ordinance of the Township of Readington, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, pertaining to stormwater management and adopting a replacement ordinance. So we had the planning board and the township committee had passed a new ordinance updating the stormwater regulations within the municipality, the county, and the state came back with some amendments that they wanted to see. Jonathan, you wanted to speak through exactly. Right.
There were modifications that were requested from both the state and the county to modify our stormwater management to more closely conform to their stipulations and their criteria. I can't get into the nitty-gritty details of what specifics they were. It was discussed, it went back and forth, and it was determined that we would modify our wording and our regulations to more closely conform to the state and the county, so that they would approve it and we'd be able to pass it and move forward.
A lot of it had to do with uniformity of the ordinance.
And terminology, how it was written, the form it was written, so a lot of it was minutia, if you will, and it didn't seem like they were worth fighting over, so we allowed it to go. Neil, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Basically, we're still working on getting us numbers, updated numbers for some of those. Pickle Park, the basketball court, there is our only lit basketball court.
Can we see what they were talking about?
Basketball court there is the only lit basketball court that we have. It's used 7 days a week, and it is in very poor condition. Last time we did the slip sheet overlay was more than 15 years ago, and we've been holding it together with crack repair. In the 2020 budget, the township did reserve $53,000 for a slip sheet overlay. When we went out for quotes, the township engineer suggested that we actually look at the cost differential for the post-tension concrete. As you know, with asphalt, we're going to do slip sheet overlay. That's going to get used over in Summer Road where we did the renovation. Post-tension concrete has a 20-year guarantee for no cracking. So it is the preferred surface at this point. So we went out for quotes, and quite frankly, when you take into the cost of the maintenance of the slip sheet overlay, the township actually saves, $38,000 using post-tension concrete instead of asphalt.
So can you talk about?
Over the 20-year period.
What's that?
Over the 20-year period.
Over the 20-year period, that's correct. So your upfront cost is more for the post-tension concrete, but over the 20-year life, you're up to 20 years. So within a 20-year period, you're saving at least $38,000, and that's not even taking into consideration the increased cost of crack repair over that 20-year period. What we're making to the township is that we reserve additional funding and use post-tension concrete in the renovation of Pickle Park instead of the slip sheet overlay, which will save the township money in the long run.
So concrete applications, there are rods under.
Correct. The post-tension is like bridge construction. So they use rods that go through, they build a frame for the pad. The rods go through, concrete's poured, and then they increase the tension. The concrete essentially is sitting over the ground. The ground underneath that can shift, can move, can change, but the concrete stays level and it doesn't crack, as opposed to asphalt. So the concrete pad, we also got a quote which is separate for including the walkways, because the township engineer recommended that the walkways should be included in the package so that it's concrete walkway up to the port and to the tennis court, because they're adjacent to each other. And it includes new baskets which need to be changed.
So the court there is just asphalt on top of it. Yes?
Correct.
That was all design.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of Readington Township residents, we really didn't get much support for.
And even beyond that, the rink is dilapidated at this point.
Yes, and actually, we have had that on our list for over 10 years. It's now to a point where it's on the Green Acres report. Green Acres comes, it's a Green Acres facility. They actually survey all of their facilities, and they give the municipalities a report and indicate things that could be a safety hazard or a danger to the public that need to be addressed. And the hockey rink is on their report as a facility in need of repair. So the hockey rink is also asphalt. And one of the reasons that it's been put off is the cost of repair. For the repair of the hockey rink, we're talking $160,000, and that's an old quote. Due to the high cost of repair and lack of resident interest, the Recreation Committee is recommending that we remove the hockey rink and install 4 pickleball courts. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the United States. We have demand for pickleball courts, and we do not have any pickleball courts in town. And our tennis courts are used all the time. So,
Follow up on what some of what a couple of you brought up. So, right after the flood and before, someone on Pleasant Run complained about bamboo. Came to me, I talked to others. Then I spoke to the mayor about whether we should consider an invasive species ordinance. I spoke to Jay Kelly, who is sort of the weed expert in general, who forwarded my email to the New Jersey invasive plants.
Who knew there was such a thing?
Oh, yeah, you did. And I got back an email from them today, which interestingly, Rich has Coosa Dogwood on the list, which is one of the things your landscaper contact suggested they plant. There's a lot of plants I don't know on it there, and they're probably not very common, but so we're to kind of close the circle on this, I'll look it over. I have looked it over. I can just send it to you for circulation to the rest of TC, and it's Hopewell Townships. He's also the Princeton, so I can just forward it to you. You might not know the plants either, but there's some plants that I know and love that I had no idea were on there, but it's an eye-opener. So I think if nothing else, if you don't adopt it, it's in its entirety. It'll start to address these issues of the bamboo that blocked Pleasant Run, dammed it up. And it's not just bamboo, there's dozens of species on it. So I just figured I'd let you know where this stands.
When Neil and I were